How can we help students overcome barriers to achievement and build the confidence they need to thrive in school and beyond? Yeah, let's talk about that.
Instead of focusing on winning arguments, we're teaching the basic fundamentals of sales and marketing and how we can use them to win in the world of politics, teaching you how to meet people where they're at on the issues they care about. Welcome to the Brian Nichols Show.
Well, hey there, folks. Welcome to today's episode of the Brian Nichols Show. I am, as always, your humble host, joining you from our lovely Cardio Miracle Studios here in sunny Eastern Indiana. The Brian Nichols Show is powered by the best heart health supplement in the world, Cardio Miracle. So if you want to lower your resting heart rate, lower your blood pressure while improving your pump at the gym, you can do two things. Either A, scan that little QR code over my shoulder, or B, simply head to cardiomiracle.com/TBNS. And you're going to know you're in the right spot because there's going to be a little notice at the top of your screen saying you're shopping with Brian Nichols, which means when you go to checkout, you'll get 15% off your order. And I've been using Cardio Miracle now for well over 2+ years. I've seen the benefits myself, and you will as well. So yes, head over to cardiomiracle.com/TBNS and hold tight. Later in today's episode, we'll talk a little bit more about Cardio Miracle. But first, we're going to talk about helping get kids' future looking a little bit more rosy and bright versus where they may be today. Because the reality is not all kids find themselves in the exact same situation. I saw this. I lived in upstate New York, southern tier New York State, down in Philadelphia, and I'm over in Indiana. And the circumstances of a lot of young kids across the board, it really is. It's sad because you see that it's not just, it's not any certain type of kid that ends up finding themselves in certain situations. It can impact anyone at any given time. So how do we go ahead and walk in others' shoes? Well, maybe talking about shoes themselves. Joining us here on Brian Nichols Show today is Janae Sizemore. Janae, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hello, Brian. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on the show, Janae. And I know you're joining us. It's bright and early over in your neck of the woods because you're over in Las Vegas. So you're 3 hours behind me. So thank you first and foremost for joining me so bright and early on a Saturday. But let's dig into who you are and what amazing work you and your phenomenal organization, Your Perfect Footwear, are doing. Janae, floor is yours. Let us know who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. Again, my name is Janae Sizemore. I am the founder of Your Perfect Footwear Foundation, where we provide brand new shoes and access to resources to our underserved youth here in Clark County. We empower socialization, academics, and self-development. Now, we have three broad umbrellas, right? So let's just break it down a little bit. Socialization is that look good, feel good, do good. And if you go back to your high school or, school days, you think about the first week, you're super excited because you got your brand new clothes. You're ready to go to class, new shoes, confidence. You're actually learning because you want to be in the class because you feel good. So that's what we bring back throughout the year, and we refocus on of that empowerment of education, of the confidence. Academics, of course, we don't give handouts, we give hand-ups, and we are academic forward, meaning that we reward for good grades, academic achievements or milestones. And then self-development, well, we have programs that allow our youth to invest into themselves and earn a seat on the bus to go to the shoe store to pick out a pair of shoes. We don't give them. They get to choose a pair of shoes right off the shelf themselves.
I love that. So what you're doing is you're not only giving them actual, tangible, positive outcomes, but you're also teaching them the value of a meritocracy, right? Of like, you are going to get back what you put in. And that is something I'm so glad you're emphasizing, because we've seen this in our modern generation of just, the TikTok parents and such, where this idea of meritocracy seems to really be ignored. And then you see parents being like, why is my kid turning out so terrible? Which I'm not being a little hyperbolic, obviously, but like, come on, let's look in the mirror, right? It's the way that we approach the way we're raising our kids. And if you don't teach your kids that you have to put something in order to get something back, I mean, obviously they're just going to have this handout mentality. And I love the emphasis on the hand up piece, right? Because it is the hand up piece, not just showing them, like, here's how or where you can get to, but here's how we're going to help you get there. That's profound. So talk to us about like the kids you've worked with, because I'm sure that you've seen across the board, it's been, kids of all different races and backgrounds. Just talk to us what that looks like and who are the average kids that you're working with?
Yes, Brian, you hit it right on the head. That is exactly what we're doing. And we're also changing the mindset because when you are used to being in a certain tax bracket per se of how your parents think, again, it's all the mindset that we start with and changing that. And so the children that we work with are underserved. So we work with Title I schools. So um, IRS is already in putting them in a certain bracket, right? And so we're changing that mindset that your reality is not your future. And just because your parents are in a certain tax bracket doesn't mean that you will be in the future. And
Mhm.
so we don't emphasize on that because, again, we work with Title I schools. So we already know the demographics that we're working with. And we don't emphasize of, oh, you are chosen to work with this foundation because of financial situations. Absolutely not. You are chosen to work with this foundation because of academic achievements and the work that you're putting in. So we're making it look cool to get good grades. So how it works is that we go into the school months before, about 2 months before our field trip, and they actually get an excuse day to leave school. So I'll get into that. So we go, we have a rally, and we let the all the kids know that their school has been chosen, and that they will get to go to Boulevard Mall. They'll get to go to Shoe Palace, pick a pair of shoes right off the shelf, have a catered lunch. So it's like we emphasize on no eating the school lunch. We're having a full-on catering service to provide a hot, tasty meal. And then we get to go to Sequest, which now is changed to One World. So the interactive aquarium and land animals too. And then you get to go back to school and wear your shoes the next day. And of course, all of our youth go crazy. And we let them know in that same moment that this is what we need from them. They must show up to school. So of course, attendance plays a big part in how the schools get their stars. And a lot of our schools that we work with, kids aren't just showing up. That's point blank simple.
Mhm.
No truancies. And so we're tackling behavior, participation in class. So, of course, if you're participating, you're learning, right? And the teacher or admin nominates them. So they don't know who's going to be chosen until 2 weeks when the permission slips go out of said
Hmm.
date. They know the date. They don't know who's going to be on that bus. They have to earn a seat on that bus. And we have a nice variety of youth that are on there. We have the A students, the B plus. We have the D's that are merging to the C's because they must have a C plus. I let them know that we reward you for trying. So you don't have to be the perfect A roll honor roll student because not every child would be. However, we will acknowledge if you try. So we have a nice mixture that goes on the field trip. And of course, it's the students that are the emerging D's that are going to C's or C's that are going to B students
Mhm.
are the ones that are really going to make that impact because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, if little Sam change his grades, change his ways and overall mindset of projection of how he sees school, he just influenced little Tommy to do the same.
It's
And it
culture
starts out
too,
here.
right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's that you're right, you're hitting on it. It is culture. Like you need to instill a positive culture. Like where you're rewarded based on positive things, right? It's just funny how you see that the world of economics kind of like bridge itself into the world of
Yes.
just like social behavior because it is about like, okay, I'm going to do a certain act because I'm going to get some type of certain reward. Like I use this in my building of commission for sales teams when I go out and I do go to market consulting, and I'll sit down and I say like, well, you need to make sure your sales team is appropriately like they're incentivized to act in a certain way. You need to put the levers in place to get the certain behaviors that you're looking for. And I love the
Right.
idea of the positive reinforcement. Like, I just want to emphasize what you're doing. You're not building an organization where you're just punishing kids because they're not going to school. You're not trying to scare them straight, right? Like, you're trying to build something positive to show when you do good, good will come from that, right? And that right there speaks to your approach is so much more
Yes.
built in positivity and I think an uplifting approach versus the negative approach, which you might feel good at, like from like, hey, we're telling those kids, right? Like we're gonna tell them the right way to do it. But the reality is, it's almost like you're building a little rebel, right? Like you're getting them to be like, oh yeah, I'll show you. So tell me more about what your experience has been. Kind of building up this model.
I just want to add to that. And we let them know, like, we ask the kids, like, do your parents have a job? And they're like, yes. And so we're putting into the mindset that school is a privilege, right? Because not every child is able to go to school. And doesn't matter your financial background. We don't care about that. And so I let them know that your parents go to work. They attend work. They do great. They get a paycheck. They do their best. They get a bonus. You come to school, you get an education. You go above and beyond, you get awards, and you get a seat on Your Perfect Footwear's field trip. We are their bonus in school.
All right, it's the holidays, which means we're all doing that annual dance, pretending that we love this time of year while secretly we're running on stress, sugar, and whatever's left of our sanity. You've got the office parties, the family gatherings, the flights, the long lines, the weird cookie that Aunt Carol made, and on top of that, the weather's colder, you're eating heavier, you're sleeping less, and your immune system is basically sending you texts saying like, hey buddy, I'm not okay. And let's be real, December has a way of exposing everything your body has already been struggling with. Low energy, amplified. Brain fog, doubled. Circulation, frozen like your car windshield. And don't even get me started on inflammation after you've had your fifth helping of just a little more at dinner. See, that's where Cardio Miracle comes in. It gives your body that one thing the holidays steal the most, nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is actually what helps the blood flow. It helps oxygen reach your cells, support your immune system, and helps your body bounce back from the stress, the sugar, the travel, the cold weather, all of it. And I've been drinking it every day, morning and night, because I don't have time to crash halfway through the month. And Cardio Miracle keeps me steady, clear-headed, energized, and able to actually enjoy the holidays instead of just survive them. So if you want to give yourself the gift of not feeling like you're worn out at Christmas, just go ahead and scan the QR code over my shoulder, click that little link in the show notes, or visit cardiomiracle.com/TBNS to grab yours. And by the way, you'll get 15% off at checkout. And now, let's get back to the show.
One school we took over the 8th grade last school year. We came in the beginning of February, and then their field trip was in May. And we let them know that we had already worked out the logistics with the school that we were going to take the 8th grade on this field trip. And they had a overall 37% improvement in their reading scores from test scores in December and test scores in May.
Wow.
And then they also got to have a sneaker ball. That was a little added bonus because we had to really move numbers. The school was a 2-star school, and we were really trying to get those test scores up. And so we added that to the pot to sweeten it. Kids that wasn't showing up the first semester, probably once or twice a week, were now showing up. They were staying after school. They were getting tutoring. They were getting help. They were actually participating because it was something fun and exciting to know that it was equal opportunity. From the day we had that rally, there's the day it starts. It's on. It's game on. Admin, principals, teachers have told us we changed the morale, we changed the behavior, and ultimately we changed the grades in the school. Thanks to this program.
I love that. And let me just ask you, because I know this is probably one of the most important questions that needs to be asked, because I worked in the world of fundraising. I was one of the top fundraisers for a nonprofit in the Mid-Atlantic for quite a large nonprofit in the health space. And I know that for us, fundraising, donations, that was our lifeblood, right?
Yes.
And the reality is, for Your Perfect Footwear, you need to have some resources. So where are you finding the most success? Like, is it through individual donors? Is it through corporate sponsors? Is it a combination? Is there something else? What does that look like?
Right now, individual donors, they believe in our program, and it's more of awareness, just spreading the awareness. We have some corporate sponsors, but of course, we are always welcome and excited for more corporate sponsorships, more individual donors to help us help more children.
Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to challenge my listeners. I'm going to donate $50 right now for the Brian Nichols Show. So I'm going to
Thank
challenge everybody
you.
else to match the $50 donation to yourperfectfootwear.org. So I'm going to include that link in the show notes. I want to see a bunch of y'all be like, yeah, I'm donating $50. And I heard your perfect footwear on the Brian Nichols Show. Like, I want to hear that shout out. So no, this is great. I really appreciate the fact that not only is it being generated by the individual donors, but it speaks to the power of the individual, right? And we talk about this in the show quite a bit, where it's so it's so easy to just excuse away circumstances, right? Be like, oh, well, I'm this way because my family did this, or because I grew up in this, horrible situation, or whatever it may be, whatever excuse you want to give. And what you're doing is you're not only showing that there is a positive way out of things, right? But you're seeing that there's other people who are invested in that mentality as well, of the individual making a difference. And that's why I want to challenge my listeners today to actually go and support your org, because it's important for us to lead. We can't just and this is, by the way, this is more my right-wing audience, right? Because they're the ones who are like, oh, government's bad and we get government out of the way. And I'm like, that's great. But there's going to be folks being like, hey, that government program, I know you didn't like it. It was doing something for me, right? So we need to have the solution there saying, hey, government program's gone, but here's a great alternative, right? And this is where you can start to have these solutions. And that's what you're doing. You're giving a solution. And that's why I'm so excited for what your org is actually getting in terms of outcomes.
I'm going to blow your mind. That's just one of our flagship programs, right? So we have 2 other programs. And so the foundation is based on me, right? I am the same little kid that I'm helping now. Mm-hmm. With that being said, we use government assistance, especially in high school, government assistance, so Medicaid, food stamps, you name it, help with housing, etc. And then during this time, there was one big nonprofit, and it was Goodwill. Love them. They're amazing because they helped us get ahead, right? I just didn't like how back in the day, of course, this was 20 plus years ago. I'm sure I'm my age. But they gave us items in a grocery store bag, and I just felt like I was like not proud to receive. I was thankful, but I wasn't proud to receive. Like, I was afraid that if my friends saw, I was gonna like be picked on, because I was already being picked on, right? I just didn't want to give anybody else more ammo. And so with all that of just getting picked on in school, nowadays we call it bullying, but back then you just had to have tough skin. And then I knew that for myself, I had 2 options. I could either drop out, which what was going to be the benefit of that, because now the peers that were bullying me actually won because they changed my trajectory of how I see my future. Or I could graduate, and I did. I graduated a whole year early. I skipped my high school senior year, and I graduated high school at 16. And then I went to college at 17. I started college, and I spent 3 years majoring in biology, undergrad in nursing, and I dropped out. Brian. Now here's why. I went for a degree because I had the mindset of I need to get a degree to make a lot of money, right? Because I didn't want to continue my situation. And so I dropped out the mid of one semester in August, and then picked back up in January. At the same time, I didn't know if I was going to go, even though some people might say, oh, you took a semester off. I didn't know if I was going to go back. But what that did for me was help me realize what I actually wanted to do. I love people. I love working with people. So I went back for business admin, undergrad in hospitality, travel, and tourism. Now, within my first semester, I had 3 financial classes. And then now, of course, hindsight's 2020. I wrote my book, which is one of the programs we have under the foundation. It's called Books and Banks: Financial Literacy for the Future. With that, Brian, 3 years in biology, I would have made great money as a biologist, right? No financial literacy. 1 semester, and I had 3 financial classes because I was going to be running corporate America's wallet. So I needed to have some financial knowledge of how to manage their money. And so, as you know, in a lot of schools, financial literacy is not taught. And so I kept all my books and just everything I have learned over the years working for corporate America, working for major corporations of restaurants. And I wrote a book, and now we teach it today. I'm proud to say that we are finishing up our third cohort with this, and already got our youth signed up for our fourth starting in February. Yes,
Whoa,
I know. I know. I told you I'm going to blow your mind.
that's awesome.
And
Like, holy cow.
yes, yeah. And so that's our other program with the foundation, because one, in order to stop generations of how we perceive money, use money, and invest money, we have to understand money, right? How it flows, and coming up with budgets and everything that I teach inside the book. But the cool thing is it is very digestible. It's a foundation. Oh, kids just, become entrepreneurs, start a business. Well, really, that's great on paper, but how do you actually start it without even understanding credit score? Money got to come from somewhere. If you're producing product, you got to buy it. Like, where is that? Like, where is that at? It's not in your math book. So we have an amazing program for the community and at some schools here in Clark County where we're offering it at. Yeah. And
Wow.
then we have our Step in the Storytime book club, which is we're proud partners with EDU Global One. Ms. Carol is a 32-year educator, and she's opening up a micro school soon. And with that, I presented this idea of when I was in the 5th grade. I'm showing my age again. Pizza Hut had the
Oh
personal
yeah.
pan pizzas.
I know.
Yes,
Don't
that
worry.
was so.
I'm right there with you. So.
With these personal pan pizzas, it really empowered me to read, because I was like, oh, I don't have to share. I had it was 5 of us total, 4 other siblings. And I was like, I don't have to share a pizza. Like, that was everything. And so the same thing of that incentivization to read is what motivated my foundation, because I'm incentivized in the same way, but using a tangible object, such as going on a field trip to get brand new shoes, to do your best. And
Oh
so that's
man.
what Step in the Storytime Book Club promotes: literacy, um, critical thinking, comprehension, and a safe space to learn.
Here we go. You want to feel old? Oh, I gotta share it, don't I? Here we go. Yeah, look at this, Janae.
No way.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about here. These are the old buckets
Yes.
from Pizza Hut.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
yeah, you get the little medal, right? And then you get the little
Uh-huh.
little certificate. Yeah. Oh yeah, no,
Yep.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I went through that myself. So oh, here we go. Let me go back to us. There we go. So like, yeah, no, I trust me, I get it. And I love that you use that, because that was something for me that was foundational. We actually had something very similar as well. It was called Star Reader back when I was in elementary school. And the idea was you would read these, books that were considered part of the Star Reader program. And then as you would finish the book, you'd go to the computer lab. Again, stating my age, computer lab. And you would sit down on the Windows 95 computer, again, stating my age, and you would do this little test basically on the book. And if you got, I think it was a 75 or 80% or higher on the scores, you would get these stars. And then you would collect your stars, and you could either turn them in for, like pencils and erasers and stuff like that, or you save it up, right? And now we're talking about teaching kids the importance of time preference, saying, hey, cookie today, or $20 tomorrow. Okay, now you can start to get something like, a $10 gift certificate to Pizza Hut or something like that. So I remember that program, and it had that very profound, outcome for me, because it did teach hey, you put in work, you will get reward because of work. And I think for a lot of kids that the problem is they go through the public school system and they just kind of feel like it's I'm being force fed this information because my teachers were told to. There doesn't feel like there's any application to the real world. Whereas when you are actually able to help show a tie between not just what they're learning, but also implications on real world positive outcomes, you're helping generate those synapses in the brain. that show like, hey, if I do X, Y, and Z, I will get X, Y, and Z as a reward. Oh, okay,
Yes.
cool. That right there speaks to why this model works. And again, that's why we donated $50 here in the show, because I want you audience member who are going to match that donation to please do so, because like this is again where we put our money where our mouth is, saying, hey, here's an organization that's doing things the right way and they're having tangible success. Let's embrace that like open arms 1000%.
Yes. Super excited to just further our endeavors of helping more and more. Ultimately, we want to be in multiple cities and help even more youth. I want to go dive into our financial literacy, because again, we're stimulating the economy of having our youth that are going into workforce not get into as much debt because they understand the process.
Mm-hmm.
What it is, the first 2 weeks is that we use fake money. And as they participate in class, they earn money for participation. And then by the third week, we put them in groups. So they collect all of the money that they have made during participation. And then that's what they start their business with. Because the real business is people coming together with their own money up front. And then we start the business.
I love that.
And so, as you know,
That's
Shark
great.
Tank, ours is called the money pitch.
Okay. No, I
Because
love
we're
that.
again, yeah. So it's a variation of a Shark Tank. We have the judges, and then the kids. We have 4 groups, and the kids have to present their business. They actually assign a president, a vice president, a marketer, a treasurer, and a designs operation of the product that they're selling. And
Wow.
so we're
So
also
not only are you
teaching
teaching financial literacy, you're also teaching the value of entrepreneurship.
and working with strangers, because when you're on a job and we have emotions rise because they have to come together and all agree upon XYZ for their business. But it teaches them that when you get in the real world, you can't just quit. Like, you have
Yep.
responsibilities, and you're going to work with strangers, and not everybody is going to agree with your belief, right, of what you want. But at the same time, now we have to put our big boy pants on and come to a conclusion of what it's going to be.
Yeah, well, and this is as somebody who's in the business world, right? And we've had entrepreneurs, we've had business leaders, sales executive, business coaches. I mean, we in the past few months we've had like a half dozen or so sales executives and business consultants and such. And one of the things we constantly hear between what really separates like the A players from the B and the C players is this resilience, right? This understanding that you're gonna face obstacles, you're gonna get the no's, right? You're gonna get the slap in the faces, the metaphorical ones, of course. But like to be able to persevere, right? To understand you're gonna eat SHIT, right? But you have to do so with a smile on your face, going back the next day. But also, and this is the other part too, I want to go back to, and this is one of my old sales directors. He used to say this: yesterday's home runs don't win tomorrow's games, right? So it's the importance of putting in the work every single day. It's not like, hey, did it, I did that thing, and now I'm done. Now I'm done. No, you have to keep putting in the work every single day. That's what actually leads to long-term success. It's the compounding interest of life, putting in the reps every single day, putting in, for my sales team, when I used to lead SDRs, when they'd put in 150 dials a day. Brian, that's a lot of phone calls. You're damn right, it's a lot of phone calls. And guess what? My team was the top producing team in the entire East Coast. Why? Because we were crushing it. We were holding ourselves accountable. And by the way, going back to like the carrot and the stick, the idea of having these incentive structures, we built our sales structure in such a way for commissions that there would be a direct tie, not just to like the outcomes, which was huge, but also incentivizing the activity. Whoa, how about that? So all of a sudden you have sales guys who are like, they're getting rewarded on the activity on top of the outcome, obviously weighted more on the outcome, but you see activity does breed results. So I love the fact, just, putting a nice bow on my kind of monologue before I turn things over to you, like, I love that you are taking this approach, not just in terms of education, but now you're doing financial literacy. You're talking about entrepreneurship. You're talking about like social dynamics in the workplace. It is really a holistic kind of approach to helping kids overall, like despite wherever they are coming from, kind of get like this equal playing field of, hey, wherever you are, here are some resources and tools and strategies to help propel you to the next level. So again, I am thrilled that you are doing what you're doing. And by the way, folks, again, I'm going to challenge you. Please go ahead and donate. Like, I would love for you to donate over at the website. I will, by the way, include that link in the show notes, but just here you go, folks, right? Like, I donated, right? We got the donation. So please go ahead. I would love for you to donate as well. And when you get the little notice at the bottom saying like, how did you hear about this? Let them know you heard on the Brian Nichols Show, of course.
Yes,
that's
please.
my final thoughts. Yeah, there you go. That's my final thoughts. Bring us home. What are your final thoughts for today? And where can people go ahead and support this amazing organization, Your Perfect Footwear, which, by the way, before you answer, I'm going to share the donation page so they can find it themselves.
Yes, our website is yourperfectfootwear.org, and our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube is at Your Perfect Footwear Foundation. Again, my name is Janae Sizemore, and I am the founder of Your Perfect Footwear Foundation, where we help youth turn hard work into opportunities.
I love it. And here you go. Here's the donation page, yourperfectfootwear.org/donate. Every little bit helps, folks. You can see here exactly what you help get for kids there in the Your Perfect Footwear, the program. So again, please go ahead, donate. And when you do, let them know that you heard Janae here on the Brian Nichols Show. But with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and put a pin in today's conversation. If you got some value, folks, please do me a favor, share today's episode over wherever it is that you like to share your content, wherever you communicate with your friends, your family, your coworkers, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, X, I don't care. Just wherever it is, just tag me at B Nichols Liberty. And by the way, for the Brian Nichols Show, we are a podcast and a video show. So you can find us over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, or good old-fashioned YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook. But make sure wherever it is you subscribe, hit that little notification bell. We have a brand new episode airing every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. 3 episodes per week. And they air at 9 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single time we have a new episode air. And of course, I guarantee the episodes will leave you educated, enlightened, and informed. That's my final thoughts and my final words for today's episode. Janae, anything you want to say to the audience before we say goodbye for today?
No, thank you for hearing us out, believing in our mission, and supporting us.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and say goodbye. But have no fear. You can go ahead and support Your Perfect Footwear Foundation over at yourperfectfootwear.org. Link in the show notes. But with that being said, Brian Nichols signing off here on the Brian Nichols Show. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Brian Nichols Show. Find more episodes at briannicholsshow.com.